Austin Peay. If you guys have a question, please raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you.
Yeah, just this is our last non-conference slate here, I guess, for the weekend with Austin Peay coming in. I guess first off, just how much of an honor it was to get to play Air Force yesterday. Those young men, I'm just more and more impressed now a day after competing against them. Coach Kaz, I can't think of a better representative of our military, a guy that went to the academy himself and leading our program. I know it's his 14th year there, but he really excited me as he was going around and talking about each of those young men, that which ones are going to be jumping out of airplanes or already doing that, or going to be flying planes, or whatever their hands find to do. How amazing those young men are, and to compete against them, and the oath that they took to absolutely defend our country and really defend us. We did freedom shirts for our players, and it's just a good reminder that those young men are, it's bigger than ball. They're doing things that absolutely committing to things that allow us to do what we do. So that was really neat for us yesterday. And it was a competitive spirit. They're going to compete to the end, which they did. By design, that's why they were on the schedule. Same thing with Austin Peay. You're getting one of the hottest clubs in America coming in from a mid-major standpoint. They already have multiple SEC wins. I think they're 10-2 on the season. They did not have a midweek contest, so they're coming here loaded in full strength with their pitching staff. They absolutely will create and present some issues. We'll see more left-handed hitters than we've seen the last few weekends. It reminds us of Wichita State a little bit from the Jacksonville tournament. If you overshift, they'll take that acreage. It's kind of an offense that'll slash and take advantage of what you give them, but at the same time, they're north of 20 home runs as well. So they've absolutely banged the baseball. They got some good left-handed hitters. They'll pressure you. They're up to 23 attempted stolen bases. And I think one of their biggest strengths that's a little different for us is I don't think their two starters, especially the first two games, they're anything but vanilla. So I think you're going to see size, uniqueness, a left-handed lower slot, arm angle. Nothing we haven't seen before, but there's some uniquenesses and challenges to force you to have really good at-bats, to be patient in your at-bats, to make decisions in your at-bats. So I don't think when really looking and preparing for Austin Peay, there's absolutely, I can see why they've gotten off to a good start. And then they have a flair, which is going to be good. It's going to help us get ready for competing in our league. And I advertise this may be one of our toughest challenges this week. We got past Air Force. I only got to play them one of the two games, and now this Austin Peay team is absolutely, I expect them to do an amazing job of testing us and getting us ready for the next 10 weeks.
Yeah, as you enter this series with SEC play next week, I know you want to try to have pitching as set as possible. Just talk about Joseph. I know you'd said obviously he's going to struggle at times coming back, but how's he responded this week, and just your feelings about him and the rotation as you head into the last non-conference weekend?
Yeah, very fair question, and one that we're trying to build Joseph up, and now we think the best way to build him up is for him to miss a start. So we spent a lot of time beginning Sunday with Joseph and put forth a plan, and it was only a 1 week plan. So we'll throw today, hopefully get him some pitches in today and try to get after it. We started him as early as Monday, I think, on force plates and throwing med balls, and his stride's about 6 inches shorter than it was. When his front foot hits the ground, there was a pelvic delay, or the hips rotating, I guess, was in a delay as opposed to on time. So he was all out of sync, and it's one thing for it to take the arm a little time to get back, but the command is not the Joseph that we know. And so we think some of that delay in rotation, some of that shortening of stride is just due to a pitcher trying to come back. And so the force plate stuff, the extra things that we have now is to try to get him back to length and getting that lower half. We're starting from the ground up, and we'll test it today, Thursday, in a bullpen. We will absolutely throw to hitters on Monday. And then I think Monday night, the 1 week plan is to look Monday night and see like where are we at, and were we able to get some gains back to closer to who he is at full speed or not? And so we'll do that Monday night and make that determination what his plan would be for the next week. The box that's still positive is we think he's healthy as opposed to not healthy. And in his absence, I guess this weekend, we'll keep Alsop on Friday, and we'll move Myers up to Saturday and go TBA and take a look at this ball club and compete against them a little bit. Herbert Holtz is one of those likely candidates, but you know, we're expecting great competition. We may need him before we get to Sunday or game 3. So that's how we'll game plan it with Joseph. That's how we'll adjust the rotation for this week. And it's been pretty seamless for us. This is our first kind of a adjustment period. So it'll be interesting to see how we're able to adapt and adjust and execute this weekend with that rotation.
Right.
Bill stole my question, but how do you feel overall about your bullpen, especially if you have to move Christian into the starting lineup?
I don't think we have enough. I think we got guys that haven't started games that haven't thrown an inning yet, which is mind-boggling to me. I would have never thought that, Brian, thinking of Drew Nelson had started games for us. Crotchfeld didn't throw last weekend. He really needs to get back out there. There's a time and day coming where Cannon's going to be throwing more regular, and you know, Keyshock's another guy. I could just keep saying names of guys I wish could get some innings, but I do think it's coming where we're going to need all hands on deck, and then getting the regularity of where guys can get their stuff sharper. So some of that's going on. I do think we could move a piece there and figure it out, but we got some guys that we're still wanting to get into ball games and get their season started. It's been a little more delayed going into 4 weekends than we thought, but we think we have some more pieces that hadn't thrown yet. We've been spending a lot of time trying to keep them encouraged and not getting discouraged, and to keep working and to be waiting for their time. But the players make the lineup out, and some of these guys that you are seeing that's throwing a little bit more outpaced them or outperformed them heading in January and into this season. But I know what some guys can do that hadn't even pitched yet for us, that have been out there and got tremendous experience last year. So we still got some guys to go to, and we need to probably get in the games sooner as opposed to later.
I know you talked about you wanted to see improvement with the starting pitching, but I just wanted to ask you, I mean, with 4 games left heading into SEC play, whether it's, you know, with the pitching staff or the lineup, like what's, I guess, the next step that you want to see this team take? Yeah,
and I'm positive on our team. I believe in our team. I like our team. I think more will be required. I think offensively we've had, and I really hate listening to myself. Like if I get home at night and I see an 8-3 ball game and I'm not satisfied with that, I don't want people to take that the wrong way. We could do more in our at-bats. I think there's going to be a time where I stand up and give an account of us not winning a game, but I think we did all we could do. Right now, I think we're fortunate. I mean, this is a result-oriented deal, even though your mind is crafted the best way to get the result you want is to not be overly focused on it when you're in competition. But we're leaving a lot of guys with bases loaded, and I want to rely. You're not responsible for the base runners, you're responsible for the at-bat. So we're still waiting on another component of our offense to show up. In my estimation, I believe that in my heart, and I want to keep the rabbit moving, and I want them to continue to chase something, because I still think we're leaving something on the table, and these games are still tight, and somebody's going to walk through that door. Again, pitching-wise, we're close. But yesterday was an example of about 12 sequences with 2 strikes, and we didn't make a pitch. Now, that's a tough one to start barking up that tree, because you're trying to get ahead and stay ahead and use your head. But we had some 0-2 contacts, 1-2 contacts that are too much, and that's just not being able to execute. So they're walking to the right to the fringe of being able to execute good sequences. So the positive side would say you're really, really close. And they're wiggling out of innings. Bauman come in and threw 1 pitch and got us out of a bases loaded jam. we threw Will right back in there because he needs to pitch more. He needs to get a little sharper. He's striking out 2 or 3 in his 1 inning, but there's traffic and innings are being built around that. So I think we can play better. From the first weekend, one thing we have done is we've really shored up our defense. And the wind's been blowing. It's been some tough defense, especially in the outfield and stuff recently. But our defenses continue to get better. And I do believe the offense is going to be able to cash in. I do think we're going to have some tough days because this is really baseball, and that happens. And I think our pitchers can take another step. And I think we can throw a few more guys as we get into this thing, which I talked about immediately. So I don't think we've played our best baseball yet. And I think that's okay. And I think I'm positive in the belief on this team, but I think more is going to be required moving forward if we want to be the team we think we can be and want to be and will have to be competitive in this league. I just saw, I think our league went 18-1 in midweek games or something here over the last couple of days. It's another incredible setup for our league, and these are things that hopefully over the course of a season that we'll continue to grow and get better at.
Yes, Butch, are you going to continue to sort of switch things around at second and third until you find somebody to step up and sort of take one of those spots besides Fabian, of course, who's playing well?
It's kind of the no excuses mentality. We still, Fabian's in there. Fabian has absolutely taken the reins and done it offensively, done it defensively, excited. So we're going to ride that wave for as long as we can. I just came from sick clinic, but there's no excuses in this thing. Nobody wants to hear that. We had 4 or 5 in there this morning. So Hernandez was out yesterday really because of illness as opposed to what you would be thinking playing time or batting average or whatever. But it gave Gavin Miller an opportunity. He got an RBI there early. I think it was our first RBI. Knocked in Weiss. Had a couple plays at third base and did a nice job. So that was kind of the configuration there. McMurray played under the weather, so hopefully these guys will get their feet back underneath them today and get ready to go again. But I thought that was good to be able to move Fabian over to second and Miller to third yesterday and be able to do some things. So we'll just have to get a report on how many of those guys will be ready to go tomorrow. But hopefully we'll get some medicine, let Doc see them, and get back on the field tomorrow. But we should be able to do some of those things. We should be able to do that lineup we did yesterday in SEC play if we need to at some point. And as soon as you put Miller in there, the first ball of the game, don't forget baseball, the first ball of the game was hit to him. And then as soon as we replaced and put Green in there and Fabian over to third, the first ball was hit to Green. So that's my reminder today, how you guys got to be ready at a moment's notice to step in and keep us from not missing a beat.
Anybody else? All right, thank you, Coach.
Yeah.